Hi guys, Mark from Singletrack magazine here. I'm in northwest Spain at the launch of the new 2020 Merida eOne-Sixty e-mountain bike.
Highest scoring e-bike that we've ever ridden. But have they nailed it?
I'm going to give you a run through of the main changes between this new bike and last year's version. I'm going to give you my own thoughts as well on this bike, having ridden it around the local trails here just outside of Girona for the past 2 days. But first let's run through the spec on this top of the line 10k model. And point of order right there, 10k is the model name and it's not the price. I'm going to save that revelation until the end and keep you guessing. Starting at the front, there's a Fox 36 factory e-mountain bike specific fork. It's been beefed up in the crown and the stanchions to be able to deal with the extra weight and other forces that being at the pointy end of a bike that weighs 48 pounds brings to the trail. At the rear we have the Fox factory X2 shock. It's a high volume shock that's particularly plush. And group set wise we have a full XTR spread from shifting to 4-pot brakes at both ends. Now, don't adjust your monitor. Yes, something doesn't quite look right from this angle. Have you spotted it yet? Yes, it's a mullet bike. 29 at the front and 27.5 at the rear. The smaller wheel at the back has two functions. One, it lets the bike have a reasonably short, for an e-mountain bike, chainstay length of 440 millimeters. In fact, on this medium-sized bike, that exactly mirrors the reach at the front. It's very symmetrical. I do like that. We'll come back to the top reach numbers later. Number two, there's more torque being put through the rear wheel by the motor since the wheel is actually smaller, although it's a topic of debate as to whether that's a good thing or not on an e-bike, especially in boost mode, where sometimes you can actually get yourself into quite a bit of trouble on the trail in boost mode if you're not too careful. Other points to note are the Merida Expert dropper post, the full carbon and yet e-bike specific DT Swiss wheels, and the 2.5 Maxxis Minion tyre and the Maxxis 2.6 Assegai tyre. Now, interestingly, those tyre sizes have come down a little bit from last year's model. Make of that what you will. And finally, we have the elephant in the room, the brand new Shimano battery and motor system. This is the new BT8035 battery that's running inside that downtube. Now, Shimano calls it an integrated system, and yes, I know that all previous batteries technically have been integrated, but this is Shimano's first battery to be designed specifically to fit inside the downtube. Let's have a closer look. So you can see that the battery is accessed by just pulling on this rubber tab here, moving it upwards, and there we have it. Now, to pop that battery out, you just take the clever tool that's built into the rear axle and do this. Now you can throw in your second battery. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that with the 10k model here, you get two very sweet extras. A second battery and a new Evoc backpack to carry it all in. Check this out. Open the pack and this is a pouch specifically for your extra battery. The battery provides the standard 504 watt-hours of power, so with the extra battery you get over a kilowatt of power to keep you riding all day. Another interesting design development from last year is the introduction of an all-carbon front triangle. This solves a problem with having a dirty grey hole in the bottom of the down tube to put the battery in. Turns out with alloy, it's a little hard to keep the stiffness to where Merida want it to be, so they fixed that by using carbon in a very clever way. In so doing, however, they have introduced a new problem, which is heat dissipation. It turns out that alloy is a very good dissipator of heat from the battery pack, but carbon is much less so. Merida have fixed that by introducing what they call the thermoport at the top of the down tube. This is basically just a vent to allow the heat from the battery pack to rise up through the down tube and out through the vent. I want to talk a little bit about the geometry of this bike. The head angle this year has got slacker by half a degree to 65.5, and the seat post has actually got a little bit steeper, which puts you further forward over the front when riding. The reach on this bike, which is a medium, is 440 millimeters. On a large, that would be 460 millimeters. Now, some would say that's not all that long considering the trend for long bikes these days, but it is comfortable. And on the topic of comfort, the head tube is really quite high, which puts you as a rider in a much more upright position. Again, that's good for comfort, but it's not particularly all that great for technical riding. But what does all this mean? Have Merida gone soft on their designs? Well, once you read through the marketing material, you start to understand a bit about what they're trying to do here. Having ridden it for a day and a half, I can vouch for the comfort and the plushness of both the suspension setup and the geometry. Now, that's great for beginners and perhaps the more senior riders amongst us, of which I count myself as one. But those looking for a more aggressive ride, that you can throw down technical rocky sections as well as hit the climbs really hard. And let's remember that the beauty of e-mountain bikes is that you can really attack the climbs almost as hard as you can attack the descents. It's here I had the most issues with this bike. On the really steep climbs, I struggled to keep that high end down on the ground. And on fast technical sections, the high front end meant that it was a bit of an effort to keep your weight over the front. But for me, these are minor points. For you, especially if you're perhaps a younger, more aggressive, experienced rider, then it may be more of an issue. The balance of this bike overall is, for want of a better word, planted. And by that, I mean the weight, of which there is much, is way down low, and that low center of gravity means that you can throw it around the bends really quite easily. Overall, it behaves on the trail like a much lighter bike than it actually is. So, in summary, this bike is aimed at the all-day rider as much as those techno lovers. It's very much aimed at the all-mountain biker, from beginner to all-day expert. Merida is saying that this bike is meant to replace most of the bikes in your collection and could even be your only bike for all your riding. Which brings me neatly onto the price. This is the top of the line model. It comes with an extra battery, and it comes even with its own custom luggage for that battery. And for all that, you will need to lay out £9,500. Oh yes. If Merida are hoping this becomes your only bike, they may be onto something there. If you do get one, it's a reasonable probability that you won't be able to afford any other bike. But like I said, I've only ridden this bike for a little over a day, so we're going to have to get one in for a much more comprehensive test over the coming weeks. We've got time to do that. It's currently late May, but this model bike doesn't come out until the autumn. So I'm really looking forward to getting one of these bikes back to the UK and testing it out on my local trails for a bit longer. That's all for now. Watch out for more on this bike once we've got it in for a longer test. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when we publish more videos like this one. So until next time, see you guys. Go.
Okay, perfect. Whoa! Not the riding, it's the sitting.
Oh, get me foot out!
Everyone rushes to his aid.